Hello, I'm Dan Davis with the Fabricator magazine here at FABTECH. We're at the Intrinsic booth, and I've been invited to do a little house rearranging in this machine tending cell. So let's see what kind of mayhem I can cause. We're going to have Stefan Nusser of Intrinsic explain to us not only what that means, but also what Intrinsic is to the metal fabricating industry. Stefan, can you explain Intrinsic and why exactly are you here at FABTECH?
So Intrinsic is a company, we're a software company. We're focused on AI and robotics. We're part of the FABTECH group. And we're looking to bring AI and robotics as a software platform into manufacturing. Right? When we think about what AI is going to do for manufacturing, we expect to see the biggest gains on flexibility. Right? We're making automation more flexible, easier to create and more flexible. And so a good starting point for us is the machine tending space. Right? And that's why we're here. That's why we are at FABTECH. That's where we meet many of our partners and customers. Yeah. And so what you're seeing here is a solution that's built by one of our partners, Trinity Automation, and it uses our software platform to automate the machine tending process for this CNC machine. And what's special about it is that the automation isn't static. It's not designed for a specific type of part that needs to be in a specific location. It is built, what we like to say, it is built with intrinsic intelligence, which means it uses our AI capabilities to dynamically detect where is the piece of raw stock on the surface, how do I best grab it with the robot, how do I dynamically calculate a plan to get that piece into the machine, and how do I use force control, a sense of touch, so to speak, to insert the material gently into the vise of the machine, right? And then we close the door and then the milling process starts as it usually does. And what is special about that is that you can do it for any type of raw stock, right? So what you've done is you've created automation that is adaptive. It is able to work for a small piece of raw stock, a medium size, a large one, for any type, right? And now you can automate small batch, high mix type operations.
Yeah. So that's a perfect fit for FABTECH. High volume, high mix, low volume.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why you had me move those raw stock pieces around.
Yes, because our expectation is this setup gets loaded and changed all the time, right? One use case that we're seeing from our early adopters is that they want to load this up at the end of the first shift, and then they want to let it run into the night, right? Yeah. The processing on the machine takes anywhere from 10 minutes, 20 minutes, right? So if you're able to put 10 or 20 pieces there and load it up, then you've got a couple of hours of additional runtime for your machine, right? And you can do this fully unattended.
Well, we're going to learn a little bit more about Intrinsic from the software angle, I think. So look forward to that. So Stefan, we just saw a product that was built using intrinsic intelligence. Can you describe to us how people can use that tool, mostly those in the automation integration space? What does that mean to them? How do they use that tool to kind of create their own product? So
the solution we saw is built on a software platform that we call Intrinsic OS. Right? Intrinsic OS is the foundation both for building and designing the solution and for executing it at runtime. So in the solution that we've seen is an industrial PC that has the ability to execute software modules. Right? So it runs what we call a solution. Now that solution can be designed with a design tool that we also provide. And that design tool is what you're seeing here. It is called FlowState, and FlowState is our tool for designing and adapting solutions that leverage the intrinsic intelligence capabilities. And our idea here, or our approach here, is to enable both a software engineering type approach, right? So you can design solutions here using code, but you can also do so visually in a low-code or no-code environment. So what that means is, especially once the solution is designed, if you're going in and modifying it a little bit because you're adjusting it from one customer deployment to another, it is easy to go in the graphical interface and just make some adjustments, move the in-feed over, move something else around, and then you can run the solution again in the simulator, which you're seeing here, and from there deploy it in practice, right? So the main components here are what we call the digital twin. It is used both for building, for modeling the solution. It is a little bit like a CAD tool where you can import the workspace design, you can add the dynamic elements, you can add the robot. We have, what you're not seeing here, a catalog of hardware components that we support, like the camera that is detecting the objects, like the force torque sensor that's on the arm, and of course the robot itself, right? So you pull these pieces in from the catalog, you model the workspace using an import from your CAD tool, and then you're ready to add the process, right? That tells the robot what to do. And the process you can either write as code, if you're starting from scratch and you have engineering team at your hands, or you can visually put together the process out of pre-built building blocks that we call skills. And once you have that process put together, it's straightforward to modify it and adapt it, right? So this is your view of the process here. This is the digital twin. Now, you can use this tool to simulate the process, and it will execute the process in the digital twin in the exact same way that it will execute in the real world environment. And once you're comfortable with that simulation, you can push a button and deploy. And at that point, the software moves from the design environment to the production environment, and it's ready to go on the machine.
Yeah. So a tool like this helps a fabricator, a machine shop get up and running as quickly as possible.
Yes. So the way we work with this tool is we build partnerships with companies that provide these solutions to end customers, right? So our model is one where we partner with a channel partner such as Trinity Automation here, and then they use our tool to create a productized solution that then gets sold to the people that run machine shops, right? So it's a partner-based model.
Awesome. So excited to learn more. Stefan, so we've seen a robotic tending cell using intrinsic intelligence. We've seen the design tools used to help create the artificial intelligence-enabled robotic solution. Who are some of the partners that are using the technology?
When we think about these solutions, it's early days for AI-infused robotics in manufacturing. So when we think about who are the best partners for us, we're asking ourselves the question, where do we think is AI-enabled robotics going to have the biggest impact? And as we mentioned earlier, it's in all the spaces where we typically have a high mix situation, right? And so these are systematically the industries where we go and recruit early adopter partners that are innovation minded and that make sort of a good fit for working with us, right? So we've seen the CNC machine tending space here with our partner Trinity Automation. We've done a lot of work in the sheet metal industry. We're partnering with Trump in Europe. Intrinsic has a fairly large presence in Europe. We're headquartered in the US. We have a large lab in Europe. So we're partnering with Trump on both the sortation. So when you have sheet metal pieces that were cut, and you're cutting multiple different pieces out of a single sheet, you need AI-enabled robotics in order to detect what part is lying where and then grab it, and then you can able to sort it off automatically into different pallets. And I think that is some of the footage that we're showing here. We're working with a partner by the name of Houston here in Europe. Houston creates an autonomous inspection cell that again is a flexible productized work cell that you can move in place. And then we essentially detect the location of the part that you want to inspect, and we automatically move the robot with the sensor to the right points, almost like an X-ray machine, where we're recognizing the location of the object. You have previously defined where do you want the sensor to be, and we move the sensor in these predefined locations, and then take the sensor readings, the part moves on, the next part comes. The parts can be placed by human workers, so the location is a little different every time, which is the sort of the same type of functionality, the same type of AI-infused recognition of where's the object located and how do I, on the fly, calculate a plan relative to that object, right? So that's another example here. So maybe to recap, what we're showcasing here is the CNC machine tending. What we're showing here in this video footage is the work that we're doing on sortation and on loading, unloading sheet metal bending machines, and also the inspection automation solution that we're doing with Houston.
Yeah, it's very powerful technology being made available to the metal fabricators. And when it comes to getting parts out quicker and quality parts at that, I think that speaks to a lot of people.
Yeah, let me maybe, if I may give you sort of one more thought that I think is starting to really resonate with our customers. When you're using the Intrinsic software platform, You're also abstracting away the differences of robots from different robot manufacturers and sensors from different sensor manufacturers. So the Intrinsic platform is like a true operating system where you can write your solution once and it's going to run with any type of robot hardware, any type of sensor hardware, and any type of force torque sensing capability that you may have. So as a machine builder that's putting together that kind of solution, you become independent from specific hardware vendors. And that in turn gives you additional options when it comes to creating a solution that's perfect for a specific customer, but also having flexibility because you're able to work across vendors.
Manufacturers like flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you, Stefan.
Thank you, Dan.